Well, here we are again.
We got an overwhelmingly positive response, so we're gonna do another episode for you.
When God created man and woman, he made them in his image and likeness, and called
God
them
has
good.
boobs.
Many years later, God spoke to the prophet Jeremiah. Before I formed
The
you in
war
womb,
on man
I
is the
made you.
topic of this episode.
And before you were
Alright.
born, I consecrated you. Furthermore, we are told
Look at the guy. He's
that
totally.
God
This
is
guy is an
called by
ass
God,
man. Look at that.
called
Oh,
by
yeah.
God, named by God, and filled with the Holy Spirit.
Oh yeah, I'll
Still
fill
in
you
his
with Holy
mother's
Spirit.
I'll use thy rod and thy staff to comfort you.
All point to one solid fact, that from his very beginning, man is man, fully alive.
Well, that's true. I often thought man was squirrel, but now they've cleared that up for me.
Now you're a man! A man!
And therefore carries with it a great.
I like that there's one woman and then a statue of a woman telling us about men.
Well, it's like the Republican Party, a series of men telling us about women.
Human dignity is that life begins at conception.
Oh, it's an abortion.
pro-life episode!
But there's a surprising argument taking
That chick is
place
pregnant
all
right now.
over
The chick who's staring at her is pregnant right now.
But
in almost
I
every age and nation.
yeah, you're a lesbian.
Debate which obtains
Nah, she's
many
not.
different answers.
She maybe.
Life centers around
This little
one
boy over
question.
here like, what's
What makes a human
conception?
person a human person? The answer haunts philosophers, politicians, and biologists.
Yeah, you're hiding
What's a
something.
person? I know what a person is.
Are being created every day based on different answers to this question.
No, there's one answer to this.
The truth is, no one.
The truth is science.
Will continue to decide
And we don't believe
what
that.
makes a human a human. And maybe a more important question: who will get to decide who is a person and worthy of the dignity and rights given to man?
I assume you believe you and your church.
Come with us as we expose.
Come with you, alright.
Isn't that how you got the problem in the first place?
Criteria for one true answer. The nights are on now. It's nighttime.
It's
No, it's
nighttime? Is that what your new saying is? It's
Alright,
nighttime.
so we didn't film this intro last time, but the theory behind this is that they find this castle and they must defend it for Jesus, I think.
I don't... or they're crusaders for the Lord with the swarthy Jesus.
He is swarthy, look at him.
Yesterday, today, and forever. Jesus Christ.
Jesus
Oh, they didn't do like the whole intro.
synagogue reading and praying the ancient prayers of the Jews.
Don't have abortions.
One
Thou
strong.
hast searched me and known me.
I am Torgo the
Thou
White.
knowest when I sit down and when I rise up.
Oh ho ho ho!
Thou discern my thoughts from afar. Thou searches out my
You're using a teleprompter, aren't you?
This guy cries when he ejaculates.
Oh
No, this guy finds it beautiful and he cries. He's crying now!
no! Even when he comes on her chest.
Chest. That's going straight in the face.
Jesus is a facial guy. Let me anoint you, my child.
You accidentally found that gay porn facial. Yeah, it's in the beard! It's in the beard!
I cannot attain it.
It wasn't a beard like that? You wanna relive your unholy
Not that
experience?
bushy.
With thy presence.
Not that bushy.
If I ascend to heaven, thou art there.
Yeah, that's right. Open your mouth, Jesus.
If I take the wings of the morning.
Take these broken wings.
The sea, even there thy hand shall lead me.
Again, this is intense. Who is he preaching to? Is there anybody there?
He's talking to his dad.
Oh, yes.
Who's actually him.
About me be night.
I like that sometimes there's real candles, and sometimes there's fake bulb candles.
And night
It depends on their
is
budget.
day. For darkness,
This guy also plays Satan too, so which makes it very confusing.
for thou didst form my
Didst.
inward parts. Thou didst knit me together in my mother's
Like Coraline?
I praise thee, for thou art fearful and wonderful.
I think he does this when he ejaculates too.
It's kind of a brown noser, aren't you?
A little bit.
My frame was not hidden from thee. When I was being made in secret, intricately wrought in the depths of the earth.
That's a nice way to call your mom's womb.
Isn't that how they made the one ring to bind them all?
Or a golem.
Days that were formed for me, when as yet there was none of them.
How often do you think he rehearsed this in his bathroom?
Oh please, he's just reading off a script.
Up on the ceiling?
Yeah, it's sort of like Marlon Brando when he made, what's it, Last Tango in Paris, and he had his lines, like, taped strategically around so he didn't have to memorize them. Right, Roe v. Wade must be overturned, you've convinced me.
I completely understand now.
Oh!
Yeah. Alright, here we go. There's this little faggot right here. No offense to the gay people, I love you, but that guy's a faggot.
We're using it in the Louis C.K. tour.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Warren World News. I'm Dan.
I have several gerbils in my ass right at this moment.
Story, to be or not to be, that is the question.
Don't you quote Hamlet in my house!
That's about suicide, not about abortion.
But not. And who gets to decide this tremendous fate?
The woman and the
The
doctors.
science of biology agrees. A human is made up of a specific set of chromosomes with its DNA.
And dinosaur bones were hidden by the devil to rule us.
Very different from a dog or a chimpanzee.
Well, not if you're Donald Trump's mother.
Parents, they must
Actually, we're only like a couple chromosomes off from a
The answer
chimpanzee.
seems simple then. A human is a human.
But Peter Singer, a modern philosopher, declares that for a human to be worthy of life, he must meet a certain criteria.
He must win
According to
Jeopardy.
this philosopher, none of the following are worthy of life or protection. Unborn babies, disabled children, infants through 18 months, or the elderly.
I have never heard anyone say that ever.
Let me pick one radical philosopher no one's heard of and use it to completely in one broad swath denigrate all of our enemies.
Some demand that to be a person, you must not be dependent on another, while others declare you must provide a significant contribution to society to be worthy of society's protection.
Are these philosophers really in the mainstream right now? This
Yeah,
sounds
or
like
is it
17th century philosophy.
This guy also sounds like the Westboro Baptist Church guy.
Why don't you argue against Nietzsche now, too, while you're at it?
Unborn baby, like a disease or a threat against the mother.
The ungodly arguments in this arena are endless. Different people with varying
Your shirt doesn't fit.
and varying
None of their
degrees
shirts fit for
have
modesty.
different opinions. But the main point is this. Should any government be allowed to declare by law who is a human person, worthy of dignity and protection?
They don't say abortion's for all, you dicks. They say you have the right to choose it. You don't have to get an abortion if you don't want. It's not genocide.
The Roman Empire enslaved men, women, and children of every color. England
Even the
colonized
purple
countries
ones?
making slavery a very profitable business.
Your Bible's okay with slavery, you know that, guys, right?
A lot of slavery, actually.
Dominance. Native Americans were considered savages, and Africans were not considered human.
Yes, but for a while you said intermarriage was wrong too, so didn't you also believe that?
Hitler dictated that he was the head of a perfect race.
Now we're bringing Hitler into this.
The coup de Hitler.
Religion were part of that supreme race.
Hitler was a Christian, you know,
They
right?
were not. This resulted in the torture, experimentation, starvation, and the death of millions.
That's
So-
like basing your theories on, like, the Silence of the Lambs killer.
Rwanda, Africa. A mass murder of almost 1 million people. Soldiers and government officials organized a pre-planned campaign of slaughter over a period of 100 days. Leaders of the genocide publicly stirred the conflict.
Yes, but-
referring
Yes,
to
murder is bad. No one is arguing that murder is good.
No one here is pro-murder.
More than 5 million have been brutally murdered in the Congo.
There's no more Congo.
Without
There's no more Congo.
the dignity of life.
Throughout all of history, this lack of respect for one's fellow man...
Well, I have no respect for you.
How about the Crusades? Who fought that, right? How about the Inquisition? How about...
How about the Children's Crusade?
This started in 1973 when the Supreme Court of the United States ruled that unborn human beings were not to be considered persons, and therefore...
That's not quite what they
That's
ruled.
not the right
Why
to-
did it stop recording?
They said a woman has the right to choose for herself.
As something that has
You know,
passed
giving women those, what are they called? Oh yeah, rights.
This human embryo
Over her own, what's that?
comprised
Oh,
the
body,
largest
yes.
innocent
Also, they put the term of viability in there, too, in the Roe v. Wade. It wasn't like they said all unborn
Same
children.
direction, and children under the age of 12 were not protected, along with those who are too old, too young.
Technically, under our own constitution, people under the age of 18 are not protected.
It depends on, because they have right to due process in
And they have
juvenile
the labor
court.
laws, but
Yeah.
other than that, nothing.
Speech is kind of rolled back from that bong hits for Jesus ruling, but...
The devil has worked for centuries to destroy this one basic fact. For heaven's sake, return to the basics. A person is a person, no matter how small.
That's Dr.
That's serious.
Is that in your Bible?
Simple.
I quote from the letters of Zeus to the
That
Corinthians.
wasn't even his name.
ARN World News. I'm Mary.
And I'm Dan.
So-
Oh, his name is Dan. I haven't known that up until this moment.
Alright, so genocide's bad, right? Got it.
Oh, okay. This is a devil thing. This is like the big devil talking to the little devil.
Yeah, school of deceit. Oh no, is this something different?
Come here, little fella.
Oh no,
Ah.
it's counting sheep.
A little bit further.
Closer
Don't
toward
turn
the kill
back.
zone, please.
You're almost there.
Arch your back, what?
What's going on?
Nice red vest, too.
Oh, no one at the moment. I'm just practicing your basic lessons on herding the sheep. I'm
Herding the
distracting
sheep or
silly
herding the
from
sheep?
real issues by leading them in circles.
Ah, yes.
I wonder if they get all their tuxedos from David's bridal.
Yeah.
Focus the masses on food, festivals, and...
So did you shave your beard to be Satan?
And cheap fast food.
Nice.
But in the unlikely event
I like
they
that the
travel
devil's
down
young
the circle trail
apprentice
to
has
get into
braces.
something else,
Well, we need to have straight
I get
teeth.
serious.
I'd like to hear what you mean.
Okay, let's say the sheep are following along the way they always do.
I get it,
One
we're
of them
sheep.
gets off track.
Aren't the followers of your religion sheep? You do a lot of chanting and kneeling and...
We're called sheep, though.
Yeah. The shepherd.
This is a baby. I can't kill my baby. Here's how I handle that. You poor thing. Your situation is so desperate. You could never care for that child. It's so unfair. You have to focus on yourself, your education, your career,
Yes.
your freedom.
Yes.
You'll lose them all if that baby is born.
No, you should give birth to the child and then don't give it any sort of government support to help it.
Give that child the life it deserves. But now is not the time. Besides, it's not really a baby. At this stage of development, it's just a clump of cells. Now, on the other hand, of course, you know that's not true. Of course it's a baby. What else could it be? All it needs
It
is
could also
nutrition
be
and
a clump of
environment
cells.
that'll grow.
One day you will be a corpse. That does not mean you are a corpse now.
And also, I love this man telling me what I should do with my body.
Man, this little boy. This little boy who's never had sex before is
I
telling
love too
you.
that he just gave a very viable argument for why abortion is good.
Just like her mommy. Sure, she'll have your smile.
Hold on, Mini Positive. You can't tell them the little soul is like her mom and all she needs is nourishment and a safe environment to live in. Tell her the fetus is nothing more than a piece of tissue. The mother is the victim
Okay,
here.
a child cannot live on love alone. What would you like me to do? If I am an unwed 14-year-old girl with a crackhead mother, what should I do?
Worthwhile if it can contribute to society. Unborn babies are worthless, and certainly not as important as the mother. The same goes for the crippled, the sick, and the...
Why are we roping
Abortion and eugenics are two different arguments.
Oh my god!
If our words are clever enough, we can turn an unborn human person into an inviable embryo. We can turn a child into a choice.
We can turn an adult into a donkey!
In the end, the whole thing is about freedom and choice, not murder and death.
Woo, murder and death!
1 out of every 5 pregnancies end in the murder of a human being. You can't argue with those numbers.
I don't think...
I can argue with the premise.
Hold on a minute, don't continue. I was going to say... Oh, he's talking over me, damn Satan.
Come on. Hey, look at that. A free cheeseburger. Follow me.
What?
For abortions? What? This is the cheeseburger of
Mr.
abortions?
Parker, from the looks of these sheep, we won't ever have to worry about that serious stuff anyways. This circle trail seems to fit them just fine.
The beliefs represented by the devil and his helper do not in any way shape or reflect the attitudes or values of the broadcasting company. Any likeness bearing to actual people or events is entirely coincidental. Oh,
yes, common sense. Okay, so in this segment, they bring on, like, people who actually make arguments that would be good.
And then they preach some crap to it.
Oh,
did they dress you up as a goth kid?
No.
Time for common sense. Today we have with us the president of
this
the
girl's doing porn in 2 years.
Research Lab.
Two?
He's here to tell us about
This
some
person's doing porn now.
revolutionary breakthroughs in scientific research and what we may expect to see in the near future. Let's welcome Dr. Frankenstein.
Alright, now here's the problem. The monster's not the doctor.
Yeah.
Reported as saying that you were working on a project that would change the world.
Wasn't Dr. Frankenstein supposed to bring life, though? Why are you against
Yes, he wanted to be God.
Scientific advances of embryonic stem cell research.
No, this is against stem cells.
As I'm sure you've heard,
Is that the Rocky Horror Picture Show?
The sword of Damocles is hanging.
for years scientists have waited.
That's like my German accent.
I know. I'm just a sweet transvestite.
Needed to fund our experiments. Now there will be no limit to our...
I like the school pageant though. The school pageant sign in the back.
With these bans lifted, what do you see coming into effect right away?
For the first time...
Is it wrong that I'm kind of attracted to this?
This is the school plaything.
For years, scientists have wondered about the possibility of curing cancer or even regenerating the human spine.
Yeah, fuck those people. Fuck those people with cancer and, you know, paralysis. Those already alive people that might live a better life.
So you're arguing that stem cells are people too?
I think they're also saying that, you know, they were saying that, like, with eugenics, we would kill all the cripples and stuff, that they're not viable people, but... So they are viable, but not enough to help.
Life begins at erection.
To these valuable embryos.
You can't put them in...
Not actual stem cells, I believe that's bubbles.
It may be possible.
You have to keep those on ice, you know.
That might also be a butt plug, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, this guy likes to do that. I think this guy's into roleplay, that's why he's getting all into this. Never seen him so active.
No, I know. I don't think he's ever a guest.
Research remains unknown. We still believe may have some potential to help us.
I'm sorry. Did you say start with human embryos?
Of course you...
Make a lot more sense. Where do human embryos come from?
My dear, where have you been? They come from fertility research clinics. The laboratories create thousands of embryos and freeze them for possible pregnancy implants, and the leftover frozen embryos are donated to us for research.
Okay, but alright. They would die in a freezer anyway.
What I think you're
So
saying,
are you
is that you
against...
take a live fertilized egg,
What are you
which
against
is
here? Are you against
60 days old,
implantation? Are you
put it in a
against
test tube
fertility
and
clinics? Are you...
I think they're against all of the above.
Human being.
Ridiculous, absurd. What an unintelligent thing to say.
Oh, spit just came flying out of his
We
mouth.
do not experiment on live human beings.
Human?
Other humans.
Aren't the embryos alive? If they were dead, you wouldn't be able to use them, right? Or if they were implanted in the mother's womb, 9 months later you would have a baby, right?
You guys need to go to philosophy class to figure out what you believe to be alive.
I believe, yeah.
I think, therefore I am.
5-day-old embryo is actually a human person. I am sure.
And just because you implant them in the mother, that doesn't necessarily mean that it would grow into a child. So then should the mother be punished for a miscarriage?
No one knows.
Or what happens if you implant and it doesn't stick?
It is far beyond me to claim.
Stop right there. Human life begins at conception. How can you deny that?
Easily, with science!
The human heart begins to beat, thump thump, at 18 days. But in the first few days, nothing of any significance happens that can qualify an embryo as a legal human person.
Can it vote?
Doctor?
Is it sentient,
correct me if I'm wrong.
perhaps?
Isn't everything a baby needs already present at the moment of conception? I mean, at that very moment, every feature of the child is basically determined.
So then, by your logic, if the woman gave birth to the fetus at 5 days, it should be fine. Because it has everything.
Yeah.
Well, take another
That's like saying a meal has everything it needs because the recipe has been written.
and a mustard seed. And it looks nothing like a real person.
Oh no, they're showing these things,
It's
okay.
nothing more than a clump of cells with no legal rights.
Biology 101, in context or out of context, every single human being starts just like that embryo, looks like that embryo, and develops just like that embryo. That is
Every
exactly
day
what
your
you
mother
look like
wishes
when
she
you
had
were 5 days
aborted
old
you.
and
She just, I talked to her yesterday. She's ashamed. Your mother is a Satanist.
Even the church approves this work.
So, because something will end up some way, it means it was always that way even from the beginning when the basic building blocks were just...
And that's Catholicism.
Medical success from embryonic stem cell research remains non-existent. Tell me.
It remains non-existent because you won't let us practice on them.
That's right, George W. Bush.
People, it's definitely time for common sense.
Oh, here we go, here we
While
go.
it's true that science has done incredible things, to experiment on human beings is not
Oh, let's bring out the fetus banner!
There's no limit to scientists and their diabolical experiments. The destruction of millions of live embryos
Oh,
sounds like a
Jesus
horror
Christ.
movement.
Exactly.
We're not as funny this week because this is just more absurd this week.
Yeah, this one's...
This is more morally repugnant than the last one.
Human life is sacred. We are all made in the image and likeness of God.
So
Life
God is a
at
hermaphrodite.
conception. So unborn babies and their mothers must be defended. In the same way, we must protect life at every other age.
Yeah, I'm...
Stand up for the sanctity of life now.
And lay down for abortion.
Someday the life you defend may be your own.
No, I can't be aborted!
I cannot...
I don't think they allow 1,000th trimester.
Oh.
Here we see the number of deaths caused by war in the 20th century. War and violence have killed many people, and the number of deaths is high. But
That
this
says one.
is the number resulting from legal abortions since 1973.
I'm pretty sure the Khmer Rouge killed more than 2 people.
No. Were you there?
Wow, Pol Pot was really reasonable.
Through diabolical experimentation and research on human embryos,
When they say diabolical, I picture some guy in a white lab coat going,
Despicable me.
these numbers
Dr. Evil's performing abortions, that's what kind of doctor he is.
The fact is,
Why did you have to turn to this camera? We were listening to you fine.
They're trying to give you dynamic
a person
angles.
is a person made in the image and likeness of God, regardless of...
Now you're checking out her ass, you pedophile.
He's not a pedo, he's like 5. I don't know how old he is.
And defend this truth today. Don't be surprised.
Oh, Dan. Oh, Dan, that other guy, yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's
Dr. Frankenstein.
Our hospitals, our research laboratories, all need to reach an agreement.
Our research lavatories?
Life and personhood begin at fertilization and must be protected.
So then what of miscarriages? Then what are they? Are they murder? What are
Science
they?
should be used to defend life, not destroy it. We must recognize personhood for every single human being, from conception until natural death.
I don't know, I don't recognize you,
God should
really.
decide when we live and when we die. Proclaim God's message that life is sacred, from the valley to the mountaintops, before it is too late.
Alright, here's my little spiel for everybody. Okay, when they say, like, image and likeness. Hold on, let me just lower my volume. Now you can see our volume control. Woo! volume control. Alright, so when something is made in an image, it means you're the exact same. So like you would see your image in a mirror. So when you see your own image, it is exactly the same as you. When something is made in your likeness, it means it's similar to you, but different. If we are made, according to them, in the image and likeness, it means we are both exactly like God, and also not quite. So what does that mean? That means, if I may be so bold, Catholics, that means that we were given the power by your God to be exactly the way he wanted us to be, but also have that thing we like to call free thought, which makes us different. Just saying. That's
Anyway.
my spiel.
So that was the Knights of St. Michael anti-abortion. Now, this is a good time to show my button that you got me.
Oh, yeah. I was at the art festival, and I found that on the ground.